Hello, and welcome to Old Toy, New Joy, the show where I share with you my previously enjoyed toys I purchased from online sources, thrift stores, and collector shows that once belonged to someone else. On the back of the card, it says Mississauga, Ontario, which is not far at all from where I live. However, despite the fact that I do frequent my local dollar store on a semi-regular basis, it wasn't until I was visiting relatives in Miami, Florida, that I discovered these Masters of the Universe minifigures by Mattel in a dollar store. In fact, I was in a Dollar Tree the day before my trip and I didn't see any of these figures. But a Dollar Tree in Miami, Florida, to be specific, had several of these Mattel mini Masters of the Universe action figures, and as far as I can tell, there were only 5 different characters available. He-Man, Skeletor, Merman, Man-at-Arms, and Orko. And I'm going to do something I rarely ever do, take them out of the package. After all, even though they look very vintage and true to the original Masters of the Universe figures from the early 1980s, these are not. They're brand new. And speaking of vintage, we're going to compare them to some of the original 80s action figures that I have in my collection. First off, let's look at the graphics on the card itself. Very authentic and true to the 1980s packaging of the Masters of the Universe figures. That Masters of the Universe title and the coloring, that's the way the packaging looked on the figures and toys from the early 80s. Here's Man-at-Arms. Lots of information on the back, mostly just disclaimers and stuff. But as you can see in the top right-hand corner, Mattel Canada Inc., Mississauga, Ontario. And so, when I first saw these in Florida, I thought, oh, this must be something specific to the United States. But no, not at all. Made back in Canada. And I'm still not sure why I haven't seen any here. You know what? I'm sorry, guys. I can't do it. It's too cool, and the packaging makes the figure complete. I can't take this out of the package. I'm sorry. Maybe another time. I am sorry if I let you down, but you know what? We're going to take a close look at each one. Here's Man-at-Arms. I don't have the original Man-at-Arms yet. I'm sure I will. But look at the coloring. Look at the paint job. A lot of little things like this I see at dollar stores, to me, aren't even worth buying because they look cheap and they don't look good. But this is made by Mattel, so they put a lot of effort into it, and I think they did a great job on the paint and the coloring and even the face, considering this is very small. I guess these would have been around the same size as the Thundercats minifigures that were made in the late 1980s along with the regular line. Very good quality. Of course, those were made by LJN. So there's Man-at-Arms. And here's Merman. Again, not posable, but that's okay. You're not going to see posable with most minifigures. But still leaves a lot for a child to use their imagination and move them around. They're on bases. I don't think there's anything special with the bases, but at least you know they'll stand, because otherwise I don't think these things would stand on their own. And here's He-Man's faithful sidekick Orko, beside an original Orko from the 1980s. Very good. Got the scarf, the hat, the ears, the eyes. Great coloring again. They've kind of made it look like he's elevating a bit. And here we have my incomplete Skeletor and the minifigure. Wow. The face sculpt of the minifigure is even better. Boy, he looks angry. Very intense. Great pose on him. Looks like he's ready to cast a spell or attack. He's got his accessory there. That's excellent. And here we have He-Man against He-Man. Very fierce pose again. Face maybe not quite as good, but got the muscular, disproportionate body there. The sword. I had the sword. I lost the sword for the regular figure. Very cool. And I like the minifigures a lot because they're more true to the original figures that Mattel put out in the 80s. I'm not a fan of the Origins figures, which are out right now in stores. Here's one incomplete that I have. And as you can see, not as disproportionate, which I think kids liked with the stockier, wider shouldered original figures. This guy looks a little too realistic and too perfect. I mean, he looks like a bodybuilder, like Sean Ray or Albert Beckles, one of those guys from the 1990s. Even Serge Nubret from the 70s just looks like a bodybuilder. Doesn't look like a stocky warrior from another dimension. And I don't know if a second wave is in the works, but if there were to be a second wave, and if I were to choose the characters to feature, I would probably choose Beastman. He's great. Tila, of course. Always loved Grizzlor. Maybe Hordak or Ram Man. And certainly Battle Cat. So, thank you for letting me quickly share my newly found Mattel Mini Masters of the Universe figures. If you like the video, please like the video, and we will keep them coming. And as always, I enjoy your comments. Many people have commented on my other episodes featuring such things as Transformers, Hot Wheels, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, wrestling figures, sports cards, Smurfs, comics, and so much more. Until next time, this is your Toy Whisperer saying farewell from Old Toy, New Joy.